Good morning. You're watching Gardens and Graveyards. My name is Charisma, and today we're going to talk about ways that you can help your cemetery succeed and get involved as well. There's lots of different ways that you can get involved with a local cemetery or a cemetery of your choice. You can do it physically, financially, or virtually. So let me get into it. I'm just going to list 10 things, and they're not in any particular order. I just thought it would be, a fun exercise just to share with you some of the ways that you can get involved with your cemetery. If this is the kind of video that you'd like to see more of, please like, subscribe, and ring that bell to get notified when we post new videos, and it lets me know that this is the kind of content you're looking for. And in addition to that, if you would comment on this video and let me know what ways that you're involved in your local cemetery and graveyards, I would love to hear how more people are participating in their local communities in this capacity. And it also helps other people that are watching this get more ideas, even more than what I have listed here. So I do have a list, just so I don't forget any of the key ones that I wanted to highlight on this video. The first and most obvious way that you can help your local cemetery or cemetery of your choice is financially. Every cemetery, whether they're a profit or nonprofit, could always be helped with a little extra cushion in the bank. Ways that you can do that is you could just write a check or call and make a donation over the phone with your credit card, and you can just give them a specific amount that you want to donate. You can also see if your cemetery has a PayPal account, and you can get set up for automatic payments, monthly, annually, however you like to set up your automatic payments. That's a real big help. When you donate your funds, you can specify what you want your money to go towards, or you can just give it to their general fund and they can allocate where that funding goes. Our cemetery uses funds like this if the person doesn't specifically say they want the funds to go towards something, even if it's just going to our general fund. We often do final dates for headstones that don't have final dates on them, but they have been buried in our cemeteries, and the families have been unable to pay for the final date to be engraved. That's most generally what we use our cushion fund for. We also do things like people order markers and then they're unable to pay to have them installed, and we will pay for the concrete border and the installation of those markers. Just little things like that to honor the people that are in our cemetery, that the families just need a little extra help. Sometimes there's not even any family left when people die, and so they don't get a marker, or the last pieces of their death care fund is not available to get like a final date engraved in their marker, so we use those funds for things like that. But we also get donations for things like fixing the gravel road or painting the new sign, that kind of thing. So financially is the most obvious one. Another kind of financial one that you could participate in is if your community and your cemetery is specifically a nonprofit cemetery is involved with Fred Meyers rewards or bottle drop or other organizations that do sort of a kickback for local community organizations. For example, our bottle drop, which is, if you're not familiar with bottle drop, it's a company that recycles bottles and cans, and instead of you getting the cash goes to the nonprofit that you assign to your account. And the Fred Meyers Rewards program, if you're not familiar with Fred Meyers, they're a retail store that carry grocery, clothes, nursery, plants, and it's like an upscale Walmart, and most people will know what Walmarts are. So I know Fred Meyers is also called Kroger. I don't know if they're national. They're definitely on the West Coast, and I have no idea. I don't think that they're international for sure. I could be totally wrong. Anyway, they have a rewards program like many companies do, where you get a discount at the checkout, or you get coupons sent in the mail after so many points, that kind of thing. The Fred Meyers rewards program is really cool because it doesn't take away your points at all, but Fred Meyers will match your points and give those points to a nonprofit that you assign your account to. So see if your cemetery is involved in some kind of a program like that and get signed up for that, because it's a really easy way to, help your cemetery, and it doesn't take any effort on your part. You're just going to be grocery shopping anyways, or you're going to be dropping off bottles anyway, so maybe that's a way that you want to participate. Another way that you could participate is volunteer your time, and that's huge. Your time on the cemetery grounds, in the office, you can help with weeding and grave cleaning, and there's a whole huge variance of things, and every cemetery is different. See what your cemetery needs and see if you could get out on those grounds and help them just have a more beautiful cemetery with your help. You can also donate your expertise. So if you are really good at websites, you could donate your time and expertise to the cemetery and update their website. Or you can have like a contract with them, or once a month you update their website according to their needs. And if it's not going to take up an exorbitant amount of time for you, and it's super easy for you, then that's just a really cool way that you could help your nonprofit or profit cemetery. I'm pretty sure you could do this with any profit cemeteries. I should mention that I'm coming from a nonprofit point of view, and there may be things that for-profit cemeteries aren't allowed to accept. I'm not really sure, so definitely check with your cemetery and find out what the best approach for your time, money, donation, all that is for you and them. Another option for expertise is if you if you're really good at accounting, maybe you want to help them with QuickBooks. If your expertise lies in tree trimming and you really enjoy pruning shrubs, maybe those are some types of things that you want to do. Maybe you have a power washer and you can offer to power wash their buildings for them, maybe like once a year or something. Or maybe you want to clean out their gutters, or just like little things like that. That's really helpful for especially a small cemetery that doesn't have a big crew. Those kinds of things are amazing help. So those are ways that you can donate your expertise and time. You can also donate product. If you're a business owner or a merrymaker, that wants to make stuff for the cemetery, there's definitely lots of product that you can donate to the cemetery. Perhaps you are a landscape company and you want to highlight your landscape company. You can do a beautiful entryway, like do an annual display at their entryway, and maybe they'll let you put a little sign, and then people coming in to visit will see that you did this display. You could be very clear, this display was donated by XYZ Landscape. That way that they don't assume that the entire cemetery was done by you. You could just do little small pockets like that. That would be beautiful and fun. If you are involved with a tree company and you want somewhere to dump your bark chips or your tree chipping, see if your cemetery has use for that, and you can maybe drop off your chips at the cemetery and they could use it for mulch. That's a really easy thing to do. I know power companies and tree companies are always looking for places to dump those chips, and maybe your cemetery has use for that. So see if that's something you can offer. Another thing that you could do is if you are involved with any kind of a gravel, like a driveway company or a road company or thing like that, maybe you can donate a dump load of gravel once a year for your cemetery to repair their roads or their parking lots. Just think about those types of things. Maybe you're a florist and at the end of the week you've got, maybe it's like Thursday, you're going to get your shipment in for the weekend for Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That's when your big sales come up on the weekends. And you have some kind of flowers going on that maybe aren't sellable for you. Maybe you want to do a few quick bouquets and donate those to the cemetery. They could keep them in their office. They can provide them for, a grave, or you can put them on a grave if you want to put them on a grave. Just think about that. Maybe that's something you want to do. Maybe you want to offer your seconds to the community. Like put it out there. Like if you're going to visit your loved one at our local cemetery, stop by and see if I have any flowers to donate. Maybe that's something that you would like to do. Just think about those types of things that you could do for your cemetery. Let's see. You can join the board. Most cemeteries have boards, profit and nonprofit boards. For-profit boards, some of those positions are paid. You can join and get paid to participate in making decisions about the cemetery. You can join a volunteer board at a nonprofit and help those cemeteries make decisions and move into the future. Okay, you can join or create a committee. Maybe you see a need that could be filled at the cemetery that nobody's doing, but you need a group of people to do it. Maybe you want to create a community around caring for the raised beds or the scattering garden. Or maybe you want to create a committee that's going to organize events or that are held at the cemetery. Or maybe you want to get involved with marketing the cemetery. See if there's some kind of a committee that you see a need for, a niche for in the cemetery, and talk to the cemetery and see if there's something that you can do to make that happen. You can adopt a grave. You can choose a headstone and grave area, or even a family of graves or a section of graves that need to be maintained, or you would like to maintain them for whatever reason. Maybe they were your ancestors. Maybe you're a school teacher and the founder of the school is in your cemetery. Maybe you want to care for their grave. Clean the grave, clean around the grave, make sure all the weeds are out of there. Scrub it down, leave flowers. You could do something like that. If you are a school teacher or you belong to some organization that works with a group of individuals, whether they're kids or adults or, whatever. I guess there's only kids and adults. I was going to say animals, but the animals don't care if you're at a cemetery. Check your cemetery. Maybe you can walk your dog around in the cemetery. Our cemetery enjoys seeing everybody come and walk their dogs, for sure. Some cemeteries don't allow animals to check. But what I was going to say is if you belong to an organization that has a group of people that would be interested in coming to the cemetery, learning about the history, or maybe you want to come in and a group of 10 or 20 people come in and clean headstones, man, what an impact that would be. Very cool, very cool. I know that elders really enjoy things like that, and kids really love it. Other things you could do with kids, with anybody, but kids really like to do rubbings, and that's a really fun thing to do as well. Is you put a piece of wax paper over a headstone and get some charcoal and rub over the engraving, and then it shows up on the wax paper and you could see what the headstone says. Sometimes that's necessary to do because the graves or the headstones have been blown out and you can't read it very well, a rubbing is necessary to read the headstone. Sometimes we do rubbings so that the monument company can match the font of the headstone, so that they can make another headstone to match, like for, grandma and grandpa passed away, grandpa already has a headstone, grandma wants a matching headstone, we send them grandpa's headstone rubbing so that grandma's can be matched. That's just an example. That's another thing you could do. You don't have to bring kids or bring anybody else. If you want to do rubbings, that's a really great way to get involved with your cemetery. You can just, especially if you tell them, I'm going to be there on Thursdays at 1 o'clock. If you have rubbings for me to do, I can do them. You could bang out a rubbing in 10 or 15 minutes or less, especially once you really get into it and it's not wet out. Super easy to do. It's just a time-consuming thing for the cemetery to staff to do. We usually pile them up and then try to get them all done. But sometimes that means we have to shut down the office and bring the phone out with us and answer out on the grounds, and then we can't answer everything accurately because we don't have our computer right there. So if somebody wanted to volunteer and do those rubbings, oh my goodness, that would be so helpful. Another thing you could do is get involved in events. So our cemetery does a Memorial Day event once a year. Some cemeteries do Halloween events and Christmas events. They have all-night vigils. There's all kinds of events that different cemeteries do. So if you wanted to get involved with an event project, or just help with your time at an event, or if you wanted to market an event, or you wanted to create an event, all those things can help get eyes on the cemetery and get the community up in the cemetery and help the cemetery move forward into the future in a positive light, and you could be a part of that. The last thing that I'm going to mention is just ask, what can I do? How can I help you? And, many cemeteries just have like all kinds of little tasks that, help me with this. But let me tell you something. If you come to your cemetery, not just asking a general question, what do you want me to do? You come and you say, can I weed out that bed today? I have the tools, I have the time. You're going to get a yes, okay? If you come to the cemetery and say, can I come in every Wednesday afternoon and clean your bathrooms for you? Yes, absolutely. When you come in and you just say, what can I do? I don't know what your expertise is. I don't know where your joy is. I don't know what you really want to do, what you're capable of doing. I don't know what your physical capabilities are, what your mental capabilities are. I'm just going to tell you, you could find a patch of weeds and clean. Find a grave and clean it. Or find a headstone and clean it. Because I don't have the time or the capacity as a part-time manager to manage volunteers that aren't there regularly. I don't know when they're going to show up. I don't know what they're going to do or what they want to do. And I have to get creative on the spot. That's a little bit more difficult to do than if you just walked in and said, hey, I really want to do this thing for you guys. Wonderful. Do it. And so that's my big tip for you, is if you have an idea of how you can help your cemetery, walk into the office, give them a call, email them, and let them know how you want to participate. And once you get the yes, go for it. I really hope to see more people helping their cemeteries progress into the future and teach the next generation on how special it is to maintain and care for a cemetery. And you could be a part of that movement. So thank you for watching. I hope this was helpful. And again, if you have any suggestions, please comment below. Comments on anything that I talked about today. And if you have additional ideas, I'd love to hear about them. And until the next time, please keep celebrating life today.